This film begins with a tribe that managed to break into hell and defeat all the creatures there to get the Book of the Sky Thief. This book has some super powerful mystical secrets. The leader of the wolf troop, Uguli, is planning to take over Lulei City, where General Si Wanfu is guarding treasures. Wanfu is from the same tribe as Uguli and knows the Sky Thief scripture. In the wolf troop's meeting place, Uguli's son, Swan Ni, is getting impatient about taking control of Lulei City. The Taoist priest, Uguli's right-hand man, warns them about 7 powerful treasures that belong to Wanfu. These treasures are the 7 demon blood coffin, which helps Wanfu defeat his enemies, the super strong Yanshan armor, the sharp white python spear, Wanfu's super fast horse, the Book of Sky Thieves with secrets from their tribe, Wanfu's beautiful daughter, Si Chin Zhou, and the dragon cave hidden beneath Lulei City. According to a well-known legend in our society, it's believed that if someone is buried in the underground palace of Lulei City, their descendants can rule the whole country. Uguli, who really wants to become king, plans to bury his father's skull there to become the ruler right away. When Uguli asked his son Swan Ni if he could defeat Wanfu, Swan Ni confidently said that he had sent a strong warrior to bring back Wanfu's head to Uguli. Meanwhile, in Lulei City, Wanfu decided to distribute food to the people because the city had been under siege by the wolf army for 3 months and they were running out of food. Wanfu was also waiting for help from the central government, but unfortunately, it never arrived, which made him worry about his people's fate. Then, a warrior named Shou Bupeng, who had been injured by an arrow, managed to reach Lulei City. He delivered a letter from the king and sadly died from his injuries. Wanfu ordered his soldiers to give him a proper burial. Later that evening, Wanfu read the king's letter, which revealed that the king couldn't send any troops to help. Shockingly, the king had also sent poison for all the city's residents to drink. Trying to contain his anger, Wanfu drank the poison, but soon after, a soldier came with terrible news that many city residents had died after eating the poisoned food. Wanfu, feeling weak from the poison he drank, along with his daughter, saw how badly the poisoned residents were doing. All the people who died from the poison were decaying within a day, so they decided to cremate the bodies to prevent further problems. Wanfu thought that the destruction of Lulei City was getting closer at that time. The general then went to the underground temple, left behind by his ancestors, to pray. He asked his ancestors for permission to use mystical knowledge to fight the wolf army and protect the city. While Wanfu was praying, Bupeng, who had been buried before, entered the temple. However, the general remained calm because he knew that Bupeng had survived his trap at the city's gate. This showed that Bupeng was not an ordinary warrior. There, Bupeng admitted that he was impressed by Wanfu's strength, even after drinking the deadly poison from the king. He also confessed that he had come to Lulei City to get Wanfu's head, which he would later give to the leader of the wolf squad. At the same time, Chan Zhao started feeling worried about her father, so she went to a guy named Wanfu's room. Sadly, she didn't find anyone there, and the guards told her that her dad was going to an underground temple. This made her rush to the city's underground palace. When she got to the temple, she was shocked to see Wanfu's body without a head, and then something strange happened. His headless body floated towards a statue of their ancestors. Meanwhile, Bupeng was spotted leaving Lulei City and heading to the wolf army's headquarters. He was hired as a warrior by Swan Ni to take off Wanfu's head. When he reached the headquarters, Bupeng threw Wanfu's head in front of Uguli, the leader of the wolf troop, who was really happy to hear that his enemy was gone. Uguli even tried to give gold to Bupeng, but he refused and said he just wanted to eat because he had been hungry from his mission for a long time. On another occasion, Uguli threw a dinner party to celebrate the wolf army's victory. Many troops were surprised that Bupeng managed to defeat Wanfu in just a few days, even though they couldn't break through Lulei City's defenses during the 3-month siege or harm Wanfu before. There, Uguli also asked a female warrior named Black Lotus to test Bupeng's strength by challenging him to a fight, but Bupeng didn't seem interested in fighting at all. Uguli, who found out about it, then called Bupeng the one who had defeated Wanfu, and said he was ready to offer anything in return for Bu Ping's success. The warrior also mentioned that he would come back to help the wolf troop enter the dragon cave in Lulei City in exchange for getting Wan Fu's Sky Thief book. Since Uguli wasn't interested in the book, he agreed to Bu Ping's request and ordered his troops to get ready because they would leave for Lulei City before sunrise. Shortly after, a soldier came with news that General Hu Lei Nu had set off for Lulei City to take control of the city upon hearing about Wan Fu's death. Upon hearing this, Bu Ping commented that Lei Nu and his troops' hasty actions would likely lead to their demise in the city. Meanwhile, Lei Nu and his troops seemed to have successfully defeated many enemy soldiers at the gate of Lulei City before finally entering the eerily quiet city. When one of the wolf army soldiers spotted Wan Fu's horse in a corner of the city, Lei Nu attempted to ride it, but the horse resisted and fled. A little while later, Lei Nu and his soldiers were shocked when Wan Fu and his horse returned, but Wan Fu was missing his head. When Lei Nu's troops tried to attack the headless general, the heads of some of the soldiers were mysteriously cut off for no apparent reason. This terrified everyone, and they started running away. Meanwhile, Wan Fu released a demon spirit from the inheritance chest, which grabbed Lei Nu's leg. Lei Nu had to cut off his own leg to escape from the demon spirit, and just as he reached the city gate to flee, Wan Fu attacked him with a spear until he died. The next morning, Uguli arrived with his troops and Bu Ping. At that time, they saw Wan Fu's spear stuck in the gate, leading some of Uguli's soldiers to think that Wan Fu might still be alive. Uguli, however, didn't believe it until he spoke to one of Lei Nu's surviving soldiers. The frightened soldier told them everything he had witnessed, and Swan Ni asked Bu Ping to explain how Wan Fu could be alive without a head. There, Bu Ping suggested that Wan Fu might have used secret knowledge from the Sky Thief scripture. Because of this, he asked all the wolf troops to enter Lulei City once the black clouds above it disappeared. After a long wait, the wolf troop and Bu Ping finally entered the city and saw many dead wolf troop soldiers. When Bu Ping explained again that Wan Fu had used dark magic, Swan Ni started to suspect that Wan Fu might have hired someone to take out Lei Nu and his troops. Bu Ping also tried to convince Swan Ni by mentioning that he was the inheritor of secret knowledge from the Book of the Sky Thief, which had both upper and lower parts. He added that his teacher only had the lower book, so he was tasked with getting the upper book, which Wan Fu possessed. Uguli, who was listening to the explanation, said he'd give the book to Bu Ping if the warrior was willing to help him find Tian Zhao. Uguli wanted to get revenge for his daughter, Saguna, who was killed by Wan Fu during the war between the Wolf Army and Lulei City. Hearing that, Bu Ping agreed to Uguli's offer, but the leader of the wolf troop didn't fully trust the warrior. So he ordered Black Lotus to keep an eye on Bu Ping and eliminate him if he turned traitorous. Uguli's group then entered Wan Fu's palace, where they found an empty 7 demons chest. There, Uguli presented the chest to Tao. After searching the place and finding nothing unusual, they started to believe that Wan Fu had really died. At that time, Tao was surprised by the peaceful condition of Lulei City, and Bu Ping explained that the residents were probably hiding in the underground palace. The wolf troop planned to go there, but Tao warned that they might disrupt the palace's spiritual aura if they all entered at once. The priest suggested that only some of them should go to the underground palace, but Swan Ni disagreed because they'd have to fight the residents, and they needed many soldiers for that. Seeing the ongoing debate, Bu Ping secretly gave negative aura stones to a few people until Tao sensed the negative aura and asked some of them to leave. Swan Ni, knowing that their group was getting smaller, became increasingly worried about the risk of getting attacked by the enemy. Meanwhile, Uguli followed Tao's suggestion to take a few people into the underground palace before they entered Black Lotus, who had also entered the palace, purposely tied Bu Ping's hands with her arms to keep an eye on him easily. Once inside the underground palace, they came across an inscription that instructed them to pray to the ancestral statues for protection during their journey. General Laihu, however, refused to pray and tried to destroy the ancestral statue, but something suddenly pulled his weapon away. Another man in the group, who was Lai Hu's younger brother, tried to help, but he got pulled into the statue and vanished in an explosion. This was followed by the headless figure of Wan Fu emerging from the explosion, leaving everyone in shock. At that time, Lai Hu panicked and asked his colleagues for help in bringing his older brother back. Wan Fu then attacked several soldiers in the room, and Bu Ping explained that the general had absorbed the soldiers' lives using spirit summoning skills. So, Bu Ping told everyone to call out each other's names to avoid being attacked by the headless general. Soon after, Black Lotus stepped forward to prove Bu Ping's words, and she survived Wan Fu's attack by saying his name. Meanwhile, Bu Ping, who was tied to Black Lotus, quickly helped her when Wan Fu's horse tried to attack her. Then, the headless figure of Wan Fu attempted to attack Uguli, but Lai Hu protected him. Wan Fu then turned to chase Tao, who was carrying the Seven Devils chest heirloom. Bu Ping also tried to save the priest by shouting that he had Wan Fu's head, which made the general go after Bu Ping. Meanwhile, Swan Ni stabbed Wan Fu in the shoulder, causing the general's figure to disappear and turn into dozens of insects. Shortly after, a secret door opened, revealing dozens of large cocoons hanging inside. According to Bu Ping, these cocoons were humans who had been cursed and turned into zombies that would feed on other living humans. Although the zombies couldn't see, they had sharp hearing. There, Bu Ping warned everyone to be careful not to wake the zombies. They'd all tried to pass by the hanging zombies, but Black Lotus's earring made a noise, causing the nearby zombies to attack. Luckily, Bu Ping saved her, even though a zombie bit her hand. At the same time, Swan Ni accidentally stepped on a skull, waking up the zombies around him, but he quickly lifted his foot to avoid their attack. Meanwhile, Black Lotus stabbed the zombie that had bitten Bu Ping so they could quickly move through the room full of zombies. After safely getting past a group of zombies, Black Lotus treated Bu Ping's injured arm and asked him why he had saved her. Bu Ping explained that he wouldn't die from a zombie bite, but if he got bitten, he could die. Meanwhile, Tao found a negative aura stone and realized that Bu Ping had intentionally slipped the stone to prevent all the soldiers from entering the underground palace. However, Tao decided to keep this information from Uguli for the time being. On another note, Lai Hu came across another hanging zombie cocoon and started attacking the zombie inside, only to realize that it was his older brother. He blamed Bu Ping for his brother's death and even intended to attack him, but Black Lotus intervened. There, Swan Ni pointed out that it was Lai Hu's fault for not being cautious. As they continued their journey, Tan Zhao suddenly appeared, and Lai Hu chased after her, with the rest of the group following. In a hallway, Bu Ping asked Uguli's group to stop to avoid walking into sharp spider webs up ahead. Unfortunately, Lai Hu, who had been leading the way, ended up getting killed after passing through the spider web. At that moment, Tao, feeling overwhelmed by everything happening, pointed his sword at Bu Ping and accused the warrior of leading them into the underground palace on purpose to get them killed. However, Swan Ni didn't accept that his team member was being suspected by the priest. However, Tao revealed that Bu Ping had intentionally slipped the negative aura stone. Bu Ping admitted this and explained that he didn't owe loyalty to Uguli because he wasn't part of the Wolf Squad group. At the same time, Black Lotus stepped in to block Tao's sword, and Bu Ping added that they all had their own reasons for being in the underground palace. Bu Ping emphasized that they were all still safe because of him. Hearing that, Uguli, seeing the argument, asked everyone to lower their weapons and requested Bu Ping's help to navigate through the spider webs. Shortly after, the warrior ignited a fire, causing the spider webs created by Tian Zhao to burn away. Without hesitation, Swan Ni immediately pursued Tian Zhao until he caught her and handed her over to Uguli. When Uguli saw the wound on Tian Zhao's shoulder and her green eyeballs, he began to suspect that she might be his daughter, especially after she mentioned that Wan Fu had intentionally injured her to remove a mark. Uguli then revealed the mark on Tian Zhao's hand, confirming that it was the mark Wan Fu had tried to remove. At that time, Uguli realized that she was his daughter, whom he had believed to be dead. Even though Tian Zhao refused to accept Uguli as her father, he asked Swan Ni to treat her with respect as Swan Ni's older sister, who would lead the wolf squad if she agreed to call Uguli her father. Tan Zhao declined and chose to run to the sacrificial temple. Soon after, Uguli and the others tried to chase her to the sacrificial temple, where many guards were on duty and ready to attack her. However, Uguli stopped the soldiers, explaining that she was his daughter and the future leader of the wolf army. All the soldiers immediately paid their respects to her. Meanwhile, Bu Ping wondered why there were so many soldiers, and Xuan Ni explained that he had ordered them all to come in because he was concerned about a sudden enemy attack. Uguli scolded Xuan Ni for not following Bu Ping's orders, especially since the Dragon Cave was his only chance to become king. There, Uguli also reprimanded his son for disrupting the place's aura and hit Xuan Ni. He then instructed his troops to leave the underground palace and guard the city gates. After Tao told them that he had found the Dragon Cave, they all hurried to the location and asked Uguli to perform the ritual of burying his father's skull in the cave. Right before Uguli could start the ritual, Xuan Ni suddenly stabbed his father, saying that he wanted to thwart his father's plans and become the king by killing Tan Zhao. Uguli, who was strong, threw Xuan Ni away, and Black Lotus pointed her knife at Xuan Ni's neck. In that moment, Xuan Ni got scared and apologized to his father. Shortly after, the sky started to change, and Uguli instructed Tao to bury his father's skull right away. As for Xuan Ni, when he managed to escape from Black Lotus, he captured Tan Zhao and realized that her green color was fading. Everyone then realized that she had lied to Uguli. Bu Ping secretly grabbed a large rock and struck Xuan Ni until he fell. There, Uguli found out that Bu Ping had also conspired with Tan Zhao to frame him and his wolf squad. Just as Uguli was about to attack Bu Ping and Tan Zhao, Bu Ping called for help, and a hand emerged from the tomb and grabbed Tao before the tomb exploded. Wan Fu then emerged from the tomb, where he had been hiding, and engaged in a fight with Uguli. On the other hand, Black Lotus, who saw the situation, tried to assist Uguli despite Bu Ping's efforts to stop her. When Wan Fu was about to harm Black Lotus, who was attacking him, Bu Ping intervened, leading to another clash between Uguli and Wan Fu. Tan Zhao then asked Bu Ping to help her father, but he admitted that he didn't know how. Soon after, Tan Zhao took the Sky Thief book from the dragon statue and asked Bu Ping to use it. At first, Bu Ping hesitated to use the book because he had promised his teacher not to practice black magic from the upper part of the Heaven Thief book. However, when Tan Zhao mentioned that Uguli would control Lulei City if Wan Fu lost, Bu Ping changed his mind. He began reading the book to release the demon spirit from the 7-demon coffin, rendering Uguli unable to move until a lightning strike shattered the dragon statue and struck Uguli. As Uguli lay dying, he warned that his troops would seek revenge on Wan Fu. While laughing, Bu Ping reminded the wolf troop leader that Uguli had previously claimed Tan Zhao as his daughter, making it impossible for the wolf troop to take revenge. After Uguli's passing, Tan Zhao approached the wolf troop guarding the city gate to inform them about Uguli and Xuan Ni's deaths, explaining that they had been laid to rest in a cave. She also asked the troops to leave and said she would stay in the city to pray for her father. The wolf troop, thinking Tan Zhao was Uguli's daughter, followed her orders. Meanwhile, the residents of Lulei City, who had been hiding in the grasslands, finally show up and prepare to return to the city. There, Tan Zhao expressed her gratitude to Bu Ping, who had assisted her and Wan Fu. Soon after, Wan Fu handed over the upper part of the Book of the Sky Thief to Bu Ping. Bu Ping admitted that he had been instructed to destroy the book, which contained black magic. According to Wan Fu, whether the magic was good or bad depended on a person's intentions, just as Bu Ping had used the black magic from the book to protect others. However, Wan Fu didn't mind if Bu Ping chose to destroy the book. In the end, the scene shows Bu Ping and Black Lotus planning to travel to the capital to investigate why the central government had refused to provide assistance to the residents of Lulei City. The film ends. The moral lesson from this film is never bring a head to a headless fight, but if you do, make sure to have a magical book handy, just in case.